think it's working. New computer setup. Here we go. Pet the dog butt. Pet the dog butt as always. Oh, buddy, look at that butt. Woo! Hooray, huh? You ready for it? Are you ready for it, little dog? All right. Oh, microphone. Microphone got moved. Let's try to put the microphone back into the microphone zone. All right, there we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome. I think my chair is too low. Where's my lever? Oh, that's the wrong lever. All right. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the new office. This room's a little bit more echoey than my old room, but there are taller ceilings. I'll be able to put more art on the walls, so that's going to be exciting. I had to put a lot of stuff in storage, so the library is smaller. I tried to keep the important things that I reference a lot into this library. And here we are. After a week of sanding and painting and cleaning and drywalling and mudding and fixing broken appliances and moving thousands of pounds of stuff, I am mostly set up. So, woo! Here we go. How's everything sound? I didn't have too much chance to do any testing here. So better lighting in the new room. Nice, thank you. And I hope it sounds all right. Oh yeah. This guy is a racist piece of crap who lived in my community and ran for office every year. And so I paid to have hundreds of signs put all over the county when he was running for the state house that were re-elect Jim Wilson for village idiot. He did not like that very much. And ended up getting 18% of the vote. So it's one of my favorite trolls I've ever done. It was wonderful. I also he would steal them, and so I had to put up more than he'd steal them. So I ended up getting a GPS tag and putting it inside a couple of them, and I got to watch it as he stole the signs all over the county, and then end up in the burn pile in his backyard. So there we go. All right, monkey butt, you doing all right? Yes, bombastic side eye. Bombastic side eye it is. Yeah. So lots going on, and what a week to. Have to be stuck doing things other than shows. I still have so much work I gotta do, but that's all right. I can fit it now in between things and finish getting things moved and set up and everything. So here we are. Recap last week. It appears that Bed Bath & Beyond may have reached a settlement with the board, and we don't know if there's a sum involved. My guess is that JP Morgan Insurance may have to pony up several $1 billion that will probably waterfall down to shareholders. And lots of folks were hoping to see some sort of announcement from Ryan Cohen and GameStop, because Sunday was the day they took possession of the $1.48 billion for their convertible bonds, and we didn't hear anything today. So the market was supposed to crash really, 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 really hard today. Everyone was expecting, halts, because the halts were happening in Asian markets and European markets, and everything's just crashing all over the world. And it was crashing hard. It was down to, I think, the SPY was down to 481, which I think it closed on Friday at 518 or something. And it was crashing really, really, really hard right open. And then Walter Bloomberg, who tweets financial things, and no one quite knows actually who he is, if he's a real person, anonymous account, whatever, tweeted, Hessen, says Trump is going to pause tariffs for 90 days. And the market the SPY went from 481 to $523 almost instantly. And turns out that was made up. That was fake. People are trying to track down. Some people think that Walter Bloomberg made it up. Others tracked it down to some insiders at Goldman Sachs who stated it, which my guess is it was a way of Goldman Sachs to get out while they could. You pump something like that, all of a sudden, it rises $30. You have a bunch of calls on it, and you make a fortune. You sell it, and you can dump everything in the market back in. There's a lot further for the SPY to go. Trump, when asked about that comment, was like, no. Matter of fact, I'm going to raise tariffs in China another 50% tomorrow. And normally, normally when the market crashes, people take their money and put them into U.S. Treasuries. And because everyone wants Treasuries so bad, interest rates can come down as they move from stocks into Treasuries. Interest rates didn't come down. As a matter of fact, the interest rates on 10-year bonds went up. Why? Because no one wants our treasuries. We pissed off the entire world. So Canada's not going to buy them. Japan's not going to buy them. China's not going to buy them. Germany's not going to buy them. The market for U.S. treasuries has evaporated because no one wants to have anything to do with the United States. So the goal of the Trump administration was to put these tariffs on everybody, threaten that they would no longer have military protection from the United States, and then negotiate with them to swap their short-term treasury bonds for 100-year notes. And it turns out people are just going to put their money elsewhere. They're like, okay, leave. They're not really coming to negotiate. There's a couple of small, insignificant countries, like Zimbabwe and Lesotho and stuff, who, we get some diamonds from them. That's about it. Who are coming to the table, but major countries are like, you know what? We're just going to form our own trade unions and ignore the United States entirely. I don't blame them. If you're an American company, right, and you're like, oh shit, my entire global market has vanished. You have 330 million potential customers here in the United States. Outside the United States, there's 8 billion. Which one has a greater potential growth for your markets? It's going to be the other 8 billion, especially as real-time wages and discretionary income starts to collapse inside the United States. I wouldn't doubt seeing these companies just leave. No one's going to bother coming here. They're not going to bother setting up entire factories for the 3.5 years left in this man's administration. They're just going to wait it out until somebody sane comes in, erases all these tariffs, and the companies go, all right, we can do business with the United States of America again. It's going to be bad. I mean, I've been saying this for a long time, but it's going to be so very bad. These Austrian school economists who are pushing for this stuff. Austrian school economists are like, you can't test hypotheses. It doesn't work. And they say that because whenever someone tests their ideas, it always fails miserably. And Austrian school guys are always in a vacuum. They don't ever consider human traits, personality, emotions, opinion, anything like that. So human beings never come into the equations that they create for the little fictitious scenarios. And they came out full for we can do these tariffs and everything, and we'll have the world on their knees. And the world just went, I don't like you anymore. Bye. They weren't expecting that. They're expecting them to grovel at the feet of the almighty America. And they saw how incredibly weak we're going to be in the coming months and years. And yeah, we don't need that. So you guys, good luck. Have fun. We're going to brain drain your entire continent of scientists and professionals. And you guys can be mud people. And they're in the EU Parliament talking about getting rid of Visa, MasterCard, American Express, PayPal, and other American transactions companies and credit card companies, and making their own systems so that they don't have to give us any money whatsoever. Remember EU Parliament yesterday gave a big impassioned, or I guess it was early this morning, gave a big impassioned speech about how we need to incentivize American scientists, professionals, and doctors to leave the United States and come work in Europe, so that Europe can be the innovation powerhouse. China, at their a big party meeting, basically said, we're no longer going to protect U.S. patents. We're going to copy and counterfeit everything. So if you're an American company with intellectual property and designs and technology stuff, they're going to steal everything you have now. And since they've got the manufacturing capacity, they're just going to manufacture it and undercut all of you. So, innovation is done for. It's done. Any innovation coming out of the United States is going to be stolen. People aren't going to make any money off of it. It's going to be really, really, really bad. What other garbage happened, monkey? We'll come around to it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit the ye old one of these. Boop. Okay, boom. Super chats. We got Alex Bishop, a member chat. He put tariffs on the penguins. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have all seen and read about it by now. But the calculation that the Trump administration used to calculate their tariffs is, look at the trade deficit we have with a nation, and that's basically what we can calculate as the tariffs. So that's the tariffs. and ChatGPT wrote it for them. It was not written by anybody. Trump administration. They went, how would you calculate tariffs? Like, how about we look at trade deficit? Trump has this obsession with trade deficit. He doesn't really understand what it means. Like, okay, we have a $500 billion trade deficit with China, meaning we send money to China, we get goods from China, but China does not buy back $500 billion worth of goods. Who gives a shit? I have a trade deficit with the grocery store down the street. I spend thousands of dollars a year at that grocery store, and that grocery store doesn't ever buy anything from me, right? Like, we can print pieces of paper at will and give them to people and get actual things in return for that fake piece of paper. It's been a beautiful system that has allowed the United States become the richest, most powerful nation to ever exist. Who gives a shit if we have a trade deficit? Yeah, manufactured goods, cool. Calculate in the services and technology we provide, right? Like, our advertising. We've got platforms to advertise around the world. We have movies that go around the world. Those aren't manufactured goods, but they're not calculated into that trade deficit, right? We have culture and music and all sorts of things that play into this. And I would rather be doing a high-paid tech job or a scientific job or even a white-collar job than to be stamping out emblems in a factory 5,000 times an hour for minimum wage. Like, people understand that factory jobs suck. They're awful. They are shitty jobs. Why would you want an NIH scientist who's discovering cures for diseases to be suddenly, making widgets all day long? You just blew up the geniuses in your economy, in your markets, for what? So they can become mud people. It's stupid. It's a complete backwards understanding of how any of this works. You have to look up new monetary policy and figure out that we had it good, right? The average American worker has insane productivity levels. The amount of money per employee at some of these companies is ridiculous. I think at NVIDIA, it's something like $10 million in production per employee per year. That's what you get. And they aren't manufacturing the chips here. They're manufacturing them over there. And they're still getting that kind of profit per employee. But, we're just going to nuke the entire economy out of this. And anyway, yeah, they're putting tariffs on some penguins in the McDonald Islands on the Indian Ocean. Because I guess some French fishermen caught some fish from there once and sent them our way. And we're like, there's a trade deficit, but no one lives there. But Him B joined as a Monkey Bud admirer. Thank you, Him B. Low B. I got a lot of B's in here. Low B. Another day, and it's still true. It's possible that we are in a completely fraudulent system. Michael Burry, The Big Short. Oh, we're definitely in a fraudulent system. Today, fraud happened, and it swung the market $4 trillion. Michael Bloomberg's little tweet about Trump pausing the tariffs, which is not true, $4 trillion. Like, I do kind of wish I had that kind of power to sway the markets, buy a bunch of calls and be like, oh, trade deficits are solved. I don't know. Everything rockets. Louis sends a member chat. Usually I lag half hour behind, but I'm live with you. Fantastic. Monkey Butt appreciates it. Her butt hair's almost grown all the way back. It's getting there, right? A little monkey butt. And Don Caesar Shadem Super chats. Please explain how hard it is to bring factories back to the U.S. so I can repeat it to people argue with. Congrats. It is very hard. It takes years to build up the manufacturing capacity that is currently overseas. We quite literally, from the 1960s through the 1990s, detooled the United States, put all those tools into shipping containers, and sent them overseas and rebuilt the factories, sock plants or textile plants and, others over there. The manufacturing capacity just isn't here anymore. And good luck convincing the Chinese government, the Indian government, the Bangladeshi government, etc., to package up all those tools, put them back in shipping containers, and bring them back here, just so that we can sell some socks to Americans, when right now they can sell socks to the entire world. Solution number one is you don't pack up your factories and move them overseas. Number two is once they're gone, they're gone. Not only that, but our manufactured goods are almost at their highest levels ever. The highest levels ever were right before the 2008 financial crisis, and are pretty much at those levels right now. Joe Biden got an incredible growth in manufacturing from his Inflation Reduction Act, and Donald Trump is vaporizing that right now. So I don't. Monkey, do you know? I don't know the solution to it. But you want to be a service economy. You don't want necessarily be. You need some manufacturing, right? But not everybody in America can be a machinist or a welder. We need people in the service economy making high dollars and spending that money and moving it around in the economy, rather than people breaking their backs all day to produce widgets and gizmos for half as much. Like right now, if you are in the trades, if you are a certified welder, a union electrician, etc., you make really, really good money, because there aren't that many people in it anymore, because everyone moved into the service sector. But if everyone was a welder and a machinist, an electrician, and a plumber, the competition would basically reduce those to sub-medial wages, and you're doing a shit job. And I just see Alex Bishop, if they bring manufacturing to the United States, they'll have robots doing the job. Some maintenance corporations hate paying workers. It's true. Like, robots don't take breaks, right? They don't eat. They don't have to go to the bathroom. They don't have to go off shift. They just go, 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 go. So now all of a sudden, are we going to retrain everybody to become 500,000 people to become robot technicians? You think they're smart enough to have that? I mean, we don't have enough people for IT departments in the United States. You think we have enough people to become robot technicians? You get people build the stuff in China and Vietnam and Bangladesh because they're cheaper than a robot. If you're going to buy a Tesla bot, which Tesla claims is going to be $30,000, that's not going to happen. They also said the Cybertruck was going to be $30,000, and it ended up being over $100,000. So these robots, the Tesla ones suck. Others might be better. And B, they're going to be way more expensive than currently planned. But when the price does come down, yeah, why have people do it, right? If you have to build this tooling from scratch, you may as well integrate nothing but robots and machinery doing everything. So you're going to have, I don't know, maybe a head custodian telling some humanoid robots to clean some toilets or something. I don't know. But it's just not going to come, and it will take years. It'll take years to build this stuff. If you want to build a factory that, I don't know, stamps out sheet metal pieces for a car, right? And maybe it's being stamped out in Windsor, Ontario, or it's being stamped out in like Jalisco, Mexico, or something. And you want to rebuild that manufacturing capacity here in the United States. Mexico's not going to get rid of the tooling. They're not going to give it to you. They're going to be like, no, it's ours. Suck it. We will keep it forever. B, when you have to build this stuff from scratch, right, you now need expertise from around the world to help build this stuff. because a lot of the experts on how to build this tooling are no longer in the United States. They're in Germany. They're in Mexico. They're in China. So you're going to be facing tariffs on the expertise from the people who build the tools to get the tools here. So it's going to you're going to be facing way more expensive startup costs for factories like that than you would otherwise under this stupid tariff plan. And B, if you're going to be spending that much money, you may as well make it all robots. You don't need humans in there at all, like, going on strike or whatever. You just have robots pumping everything out. And then once robots pump everything out and no one has any jobs anymore, then you can't sell any products and then everything collapses anyway. So there needs to be some sort of like dirty functionalist in the middle type scenario where you can still have a product and still have employees and thus customers. Like, we're just gonna end up like Russia. We're just gonna be mud people. That's where we're coming from. Yeah. And Jewish Mammy, leave to MAGA to come up with childish word panicking. Yeah, Trump's like, don't panicking, don't become a panicking. Weak, scared little wussies. Okay, dude. Yeah. What are we supposed to do? Like, I'm going to stoically sit by and watch as my family and my friends and my parents' retirements get obliterated. Sure, my 88-year-old father can go out there and go get a job now that his Social Security is apparently not working anymore because the programming, the untested programs that the Doge people wrote for Social Security are crashing the servers. So we got that going on for us. It's just a cataclysm of shit. Houston, we have a problem. It's nothing but problem. Are there any solutions out there, Monkey? I mean, simple solution is, you know what I mean. There's a solution. We all know what it is. Someone, the person who does the solution will probably be rewarded via GoFundMe or something greater than any human beings that have been rewarded on that website entirely. But there is a solution. And I wouldn't doubt if some banker class people finally take care of it on this one. Whispers from some prime brokers like Morgan Stanley are saying that margin calls have gone out. They went out Friday. They went out today. And liquidations are likely to be happening. MicroStrategy, if Bitcoin drops to 74,000, apparently they're facing margin calls for loans they took out to buy a whole bunch of Bitcoin. Yeah, if that happens, Bitcoin crashes further, right? As they sell off. So, hope Ryan Cohen didn't buy that Bitcoin yet that he planned on doing with all that money he has. I have an eyelash falling into my eye. One moment. Get out of my eye. Okay. So, yeah. Yes, the ultimate solution. The ultimate. Okay. Goodness gracious. Let's hit the normal chats here. J-Dog, cool. Louis, post some stickers. J-Dog also says, go Mariners, who have a terrible start to the season. They lost Robles to an incredible catch, but it looks like he broke every bone in his body on it yesterday. Alex Bishop's here. Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. Had to pick last week to move, huh? Jamie, like Noah's Ark in this bloodbath. Yeah, Jamie was floating on top of everything today. I'm gonna have to swap into some Jamie calls again here. That Walter Bloomberg thing really ruined my spy play today. I was like, woohoo! And then I was like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh, okay again. I was like, whoa, oh, basically finished where I started. Lame. And Kelly Reed takes a whole new type of stupid to wipe out almost $10 trillion from market. And then again, did bankrupt casinos, and someone told him, the stock market is like a casino. Yeah. To punish a $1 trillion trade deficit, Trump obliterated $10 trillion of market cap. So, excuse me, hiccups. That's a special kind of stupid. That's the cut off your nose and spite your face type of thing. That's the kind of stupid you do when you fire everybody in the government who makes the websites work, and then you have a bunch of 19-year-olds try to rewrite it all with no experience. That's or like you fire all the air traffic controllers, then planes start crashing. Like it's yeah. Speaking of people who spite themselves, Ryan Peterson had a really interesting series of posts. Julio sent it to me. He's the Flexport guy, also super MAGA, Trump, and he's like, oh, these tariffs are killing us. No business anymore. And there's apparently a shipping rule that's going to, if a Chinese made ship, so a ship that's made in China, docks in the United States to offload goods, there's going to be a $1.5 million docking fee. And if the ship's not made in China, but the company even owns one ship made in China, there's going to be a $500,000 docking fee. And what they think is going to happen is this is going to result in ships just not coming anymore. And they're also requiring that 15% of all ships docking U.S. ports are made in the United States. But the United States doesn't make mega cargo ships. They make mid-sized cargo ships that go between like Hawaii in the United States, Guam in the United States, Puerto Rico in the United States, etc. But they don't have these mega container ships made in the United States, and we don't really have the capacity to make them at the moment. We can build aircraft carriers. We can build some ferries and some fishing vessels. Large commercial vessels, no, we don't have the capacity or the dry docks to do that. So, in all likelihood, I think goods will stop coming here. Like, everything's gonna be too expensive. They're not gonna bother. The market's gonna disappear. We're going to get some like really crappy communist style substitutions for it, because without competition and without the smart people being here anymore, we'll have like the janky people make janky equivalents of those products, and that's what we'll have. All the good stuff is going to go elsewhere around the world, and everyone's going to have cooler things than us. But Chris Taylor, does your new crib come with better internet connection? And what is your roommate situation? Roommate situation is lovely. I'll just leave it at that. There may be screaming children every once in a while. Yeah, internet connectivity seems fine so far. I've had excellent connection the entire time. I haven't had any complaints. Actually, I haven't actually checked and see what my download is like. Shall we speed test it? Let's see here. Internet speed test. Okay. Boom. Chrome. Bam. Boop. Let's see what we're doing right now. I got this running. So we've got 156 down. That's not too shabby. I mean, I think it was at like 60 to 70 down with the other place. Where are we up now? 36, 37, 38. Oh, up is way better, because that was at like 5. So internet's better. Yay! 157 down, 38.9 up. We might have crystal clear streams from now on. Hooray! Look at that. So there we go. Speedy Rio, Rio Speedwagon. We all know of that. The world has gone to shit. You have 3 policies to turn this all around. By the way, Run, I'd vote for you. And the policies are pretty simple. Get rid of the tariffs to stop pissing off your friends. That's simple. Like, we're in these groups like NATO, right? Those are our buddies. Those are our friends. Those are our trade partners. You know, all we have to do is be cool, baby. And we got customers for our planes, for our military weapons, for our computers and phones, TVs, etc. Right? Cars. So just don't be a dick. That's policy number 1. Number 2, utilize the government to provide the services that the for-profit market cannot produce at cost. Meaning, public transportation, hospitals, healthcare in general. Disease research, weather monitoring, remote sensing, trains, things like that. Like utilize the purchasing power of the federal government to do those things. And number 3, tax the crap out of billionaires and folks who offshore their money. If you can hunt it down, via like Pandora paper leaks, Panama paper leaks, utilizing the information infrastructure the United States government created for the banks to pinpoint where money has been taken out of the United States and put into places like Cyprus and Caymans and Bahamas, etc. Tax the crap out of those guys. Sanction them. Be like, hey, according to Forbes, you have $1.5 billion, but we found $40 billion offshore. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw your ass in prison until that $40 billion comes back on shore. They might be like, well, I'm going to leave forever. Too late, you're in prison. Now, you just distribute all that money to the poor people in the United States, and they've got food and housing and all that stuff. We don't... I don't want to say like we don't need billionaires, because there is a psychological element of most people have greed. Like they want cool shit. They want things. So having folks at the top makes people want to strive for that at some point, which does, result in innovation and competition and production. I get that. If you try to make everybody a level playing field and there's no... How would I turn this? There's no incentive to prosper beyond getting another hat to wear or something, then people just, a lot of people are just gonna do the bare minimum. I get that. Not everyone's altruistic, but I do think there comes a line somewhere where you have so much wealth you're now dangerous to society. If you have $400 billion and you can pay for any and all elections you want, no, you have to limit that. Right? Citizens United. One of the problems with Citizens United is that they say corporations are people. Corporations are not people. They're corporations. Right? But the court ruling gave them the rights of a citizen, meaning corporations can now donate like crazy to campaigns and dark money and everything else. And that money was this free speech, right? But it turns out some people have more speech than others in that case. But a company can have unlimited write-offs. So if a company loses $1 billion, they can write off $1 billion of revenue the next year, right? I get $3,000. That's it. I lose $3,000 in the market. I only get to write off $3,000. I can write off $3,000 next year if I have more than that from this year, but I'm limited in how much I can write off. So if a corporation is a person, they should only get a $3,000 write-off as well, right? Otherwise, take away their ability to donate to campaigns and things like that. Just make it so that companies can't lobby. It has to be individuals who lobby. That's where it should be. Is that Johnson & Johnson or Boeing can't pay for a lobbyist to do anything. It has to be an individual person who perhaps works at that company who then pays for the lobbying or does the lobbying. But they can't just lobby themselves as a corporation. I just think that stuff should be gone. So that's something I'd throw in there. Yeah, Dig Dug Doink, happy housewarming. Thank you. Mikey, are you warm? Are you warm and housed? Huh? I think this camera's a little high. Maybe I should lower it a little bit. That just may be askew. I'm askew now. So maybe, oh, there. Oh my. Okay. All right. Is that? Oh, scrubbing bubbles. I've been swiping things. Okay. Gonna go. That goes that way. That goes that way. Am I happy with that? No, it might be too low. I don't know, man. Just, we'll fill it with art, and I think I'm still askew. I think I want to go like that. Is that straight? And I'm cutting off art. I'm just gonna spend the next hour tipping things back and forth. Good enough. Monkey, satisfied with that? Did that work for you? Little leg stump. Miami Supreme Court. Just in Supreme Court lets Trump use wartime law to deport Venezuelans. What? They allowed the Alien Seditions Act to be... No way. No. News. This says the hear appeal. I'm not seeing a... I think might come up on social media. Nope. Supreme Court Alien Seditions. 15 minutes ago, the Supreme Court has vacated Judge Boasberg's orders barring Trump's removals of the Alien Enemies Act largely over venue, but emphasized the administration must give reasonable notice for targets to challenge the deportation in court. Supreme Court sides the Trump administration, allowing them to continue to remove suspected members of Trinidad Agua from the country under Alien Enemies Act. So once Unusual Wales says it sides the Trump administration, this one here says that they must give due process. So that seems to me to half win, half loss. Like the big problem is that they didn't have due process. They just like scooped these guys up and sent their ass overseas, and now they can't get them back. So like wrongly took legal residents and sent them to basically hell that they can't get out of ever. And we went, oh well. Some of the crazy arguments made by the Trump administration on this were like, well, you don't have jurisdiction over El Salvador, so no. Which basically means I can kidnap one of you. Pick someone from the list there. I'm Mudkip. Mudkip, I'm coming over. I'm going to kidnap you. And I'm going to put you on a plane and drop you off in a hellhole in another country. And guess what? Now it's legal. If I'd kept you in the United States locked up, then I'm breaking the law. But if I send you to hell somewhere else in another country, no harm, no foul. There's no jurisdiction. I found a loophole. Basically, I can just murder and torture at will as long as it's overseas. We're cool. That seems to be kind of the argument the government was making. But here it sounds like the Supreme Court wants the ability for targets to challenge the deportations, meaning due process. So, still. It should also be, what they promised, which is undocumented workers. A lot of these guys that they sent to this hell prison, Sukkot, whatever they're calling it, were here legally. They're here on green cards, visas, asylum, refugee status. A lot of them weren't gang members like they promised. Some were just like, soccer player here, makeup artist there, a dad who was just having to be ripped from his family, some dude heading to work, no criminal records. So we're in the bad place is where we are. And what's to stop them from taking you from your home? They're like, I'm an American citizen. They're like, well, prove it. And then you're like, here's my proof. And they're like, I don't recognize that document. Have fun getting your head shaved and beaten in this El Salvadoran prison. You gang member, you. That's the slippery slope, man. And we have slipped right into it. So, Alex Bishop, we should name it the MAGA Depression. I like it. Brandon Wells, sup BBBY, sup No Labs. I got no news on No Labs. BBBY, it sounds like they settled a bunch of shipping lawsuits. They possibly settled that lawsuit with the board. My guess is that more money are coming from that than there's owed to creditors, and there's going to be a waterfall. We can run some numbers on that. Why don't we run some numbers on that? Boop. Turn off the calculator app. Bam. Go there. Bam. To turn off the Chrome. Boom. Calculator. There we are. All right. Let's think. The shipping. It looks like the shipping's about $500 million, right? And about $500 million of the claims by creditors have been thrown out so far. So maybe it might be down to about $1 billion if the unsecured creditors have not been paid off yet, which those who have bonds haven't said they've been paid off. So I don't know what kind of clerical things are going on there. So let's say there's $1 billion left. And the lawsuit against the board, it's hard to pinpoint exactly how much they wanted out of that. I think it was like $3 billion plus damages, somewhere in that neighborhood. So it could be anywhere beyond that. So if they settled, they may have settled for the $3 billion. They may have settled for something beyond that because JP Morgan didn't want this thing to go to court. So on the max end, I think liability might be closer to 10 to 12 billion just because of all the buybacks that JP Morgan encouraged and basically negotiated with the board to do in violating fiduciary duty and rejecting Ryan Cohen's offer to buy the company and keep them out of bankruptcy, etc. So it might be in that really high end. If that's the case, it's 12 billion minus $1 billion, it's $11 billion, right? Oops, I forgot to put a 1 in there. 11 billion. And now what becomes tricky is how many shares this gets distributed over. If it's the 117 million, which were the number of shares before HBC exercised all those warrants, right? Then you're looking at 117 $94 a share. That's what the waterfall payment would be, 94 and change. If it is that 11, whoops, I need to put another 1 in there. If it's that 11 billion and there's the 700 million shares after HBC did all those warrant exercisings, I think it's like 750 million shares or something. Then it comes out to $14.66 per share. Okay, that's the high side of settlement. Low side of settlement would be they settled for like $2 billion, right? $1 billion pays off the rest of the creditors. $1 billion goes to us. In that case, $1 billion. No, not making 11s. I'm not trying to. $1 billion. And the 117 million. Whoops. 117 million. Looking at $8 a share. Lame. If it's the really high stuff, so it's like $1 billion and it's 749 million shares, 750 million shares due to HBC, then you're like $1.33. So I think it really depends upon how threatened going to trial and facing the possibility of further RICO charges would be. So how much was JP Morgan willing to cash out? Other folks like, I'm bet it's gonna be $300 a share. That would be, I think, kind of insane. I don't think it's going to be a 30-something billion dollar settlement. I think the range of 2 to probably 12 billion is pretty somewhere in there. Is probably where the settlement is. Yeah, Mikey, any opinions? No. So somewhere in that neighborhood. That's the best I can come up with. Again, imagine, if the 2022 Knowles net operating losses for Bed Bath & Beyond were 1.6 billion. That's over 10 years of not paying taxes for GME if GME does a reverse merger into them. If they calculate up the 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023 Knowles, you're looking at close to $10 billion. So GameStop, with their current profits, could go almost 100 years without paying taxes if they reverse merger into this thing. It would be a huge win. Plus, think about this, right? You have $1.8 billion to $1 billion shorts on GameStop. right? There's 430 million shares. There is a billion shorts out there that they have to close at some point. You do a reverse merger into something like Bed Bath & Beyond, where there's likely 5 billion shorts. Because they sold this thing, thinking it was going to sell our box, Chapter 7, and disappear forever and never come back, right? So let's say you reverse merger into GameStop, and everyone who had a Bed Bath & Beyond share, it now turns into a GameStop share. So the GameStop float is now at 600 million, right? Or total shares outstanding somewhere around 600 million. And now you're short on GameStop 6 billion shares. And a lot of those shorts were created at 4 cents, at 7 cents, right? And suddenly they're worth $22, $25 a share. On top of that, you have cash payout to all those Bed Bath people. So the cash payout is $94. Let's put it on the high side. You now have 5 billion short shares, right? At $94 a share. You now owe $470 billion in cash to all those short shares you created. So you've instantly vaporized the cash of probably every market maker, hedge fund, and prime broker in existence with that alone. And they got to go out and find a bunch of shares that don't exist yet. And you can make it especially mean if you were to blockchain the stock, right? Now, you don't just give the cash, the waterfall to these BBY people that now have GameStop shares or whatever. You now also issue them warrants at a penny each. And those warrants are for something in the money. Like so stocks trade at $25, you make it for $20. And they can buy each warrant for a penny, which means they can get those stocks for essentially $20 when it's trading for $25. So there's already a $5 premium on 117 million warrants that get issued out. Get a one warrant for every share that you have. Okay. Now, for those 5 billion short shares out there, those hedge funds and market makers and prime brokers and everyone else has to go into the derivatives market and buy those warrants to provide them for the 5 billion short shares that exist. Okay. They're trading at $5 each. Well, the first people to go into the market and get them, they're going to be spending $25 billion on that. Now that the short shares are getting bought up, the price is going up, causing these warrants now to go up. So the price hits $30. You double that. It's $40. You triple it. Or quadruple it, sorry. And so on and so forth. So the stock price goes to $100. Each one of those warrants is worth $75 each. So that changes everything. Like, all of a sudden you're now at hundreds of billions of dollars to pick up those warrants. Right? Oops. 75 times 5 billion. You now have to find $375 billion to buy the warrants to make good without being vaporized by the DTCC and everyone else. So there's a real possibility to make this as gross and as mean as possible. And I really hope Ryan Cohen isn't just fucking jerking us around and actually pulls the pin on this grenade and blows the whole thing up. Perfect time to do it. You know, liquidity is low for everybody. They don't have cash for shit. So pull that pin, man. Let this thing squeeze like nothing's ever squozed before. So do it already. Just do it. Just freaking do it. Just do it. Just do it. Right? That's all you have to do. You just do it. Do it. Boop, 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 beep, 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 boop, 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 and you're done. Now you just made a whole bunch of gajillionaires out of your most loyal investors. And when the dust settles, they're going to follow you wherever you go. And you will have yourself a Berkshire Hathaway. A limited number of people willing to invest in your genius. So are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Are you gonna do it, or are you just gonna go buy some BTC? You know, you can buy some Bitcoin, and then you can give Bitcoin as dividends to your shareholders, and that would cause the shorts to have to go buy Bitcoin, which cause the Bitcoin prices to rise. And you can do messy things like that as well. But you know, if you want a good just shotgun to the face, you do something like this. That's all you have to do. It's pretty easy in my opinion. Fred Jones gifted 5 memberships. So we did a little lurker fishing here. Got Michael Height, Rose Moon, David Wick, Jethro, AVH, and I thought Rose Moon got again, but no, she says I've been summoned by the gifted woo. Welcome. Not any lurkers in there today, but that's okay. That's okay. Got a decent crowd going for a Monday. Got 9 minutes left. We'll be on again tomorrow. A little more probably cool stuff behind me, and as I clean up and I have like tools all over the place. Still have to hang a hand towel holder in the bathroom. It's been annoying. There's not one in there. Things I gotta get going there. Okay. Where am I? I don't think there's no chance for me to even get to the start of the show. I opened up the show a little too early today. So, your questions, I'm sure you have lots of them. I will not get to them all, even close. So, Chris Taylor says, glad you're back. Can't wait to hear about your move. I hope it went well. My lower spine is compressed, and my neck hurts, and everything aches. And I haven't never used painter rollers as much as I did this week, and there's muscles in my abs that I did not know existed from rolling constantly for 3 days in a row. Yeah, so I'm a sore puppy. Not as sore as this puppy, but a sore puppy. J-Dog, I hope new setup working good. How's James Webb Space Telescope doing? We've got... Well, all the things I care about James Webb Space Telescope is resolving planetary systems out yonder. And there's a lot of them. Let's see if we can get some JWST planetary systems images. Yeah, we have... I don't want artist rendering. I want actual images. Here we go. James Webb Space Telescope. Bam. Chrome. Boom. This guy here. These are planets resolved using James Webb Space Telescope. That's pretty cool. So, yeah. Multiple planets orbiting this star, I believe. I can't quite tell. We might be at a weird angle, so it might be kind of orbiting like that. That's just kind of a tilted plane to us. But yeah, multiple planets, possibly planets with moons resolved in that as well. That's cool stuff. That's the stuff I care about. You can look at stuff that's 13.8 billion light years away and go, oh, it's a different quasar we saw before. I don't care about that. I care about planets. Give me all the planets. So yeah, it's doing what it should be doing. We're going to have a couple of massive Earth-based telescopes opening up here probably the next decade. The Very Large Telescope in Chile and the 30-meter telescope in Hawaii, if the protests ever stop. These are 100-foot wide mirrors, and they will be able to see all sorts of things. So it'll be awesome. Dig Dug Doink, Super Chats, more housewarming for us. Thank you. How are you feeling? You good? You know we haven't done yet? Oh, did you hear me go back? Is this what you wanted? Is this what you want? One of those? Yeah? Want to take it? There you go. Put it in your mouth. Chew on it. Make some crunchy noises. There we go. Boom. Ha-cha. All right. Okay, so. Where was I? Nunamoth says, fake news saved the market and cheated me out of 6 figures today. I shake my head. Yeah, I would have had some pretty big gains today if Walter Bloomberg hadn't fucked that all up with his fake news. Hopefully Walter points to the guy at Goldman Sachs who said it to him, and that guy can go to prison forever. But yeah, and welcome back. Thank you. Kelly, got any ideas about Ryan's cryptic tweet? Passover's coming up, and or Passover's happening now. Is it Saturday? Passover? Yeah, this past Saturday was Passover. So gefilte fish, it's a Jewish pickled fish. So he did tweet about how the tariffs might make him a Democrat, and you guys see the pricing on the on the new Switch, Nintendo Switch. Basically, it's gonna be like $499, but now with tariffs, it's gonna be like $650, maybe more. And so they can't take pre-orders for it because they don't actually know if the tariffs are going to go into place. And if they do go into place, they're going to have to figure in the tariff price for these Nintendo Switches before they allow people doing the pre-orderings for it. And the pre-ordering usually works great for companies like GameStop because, you pre-order, you take that cash and you sit on it and you make interest off of it while waiting for the orders of the video games to come in. And it's a great way to make some extra money on top of everything you have. And then people get first deliveries. But if you don't know what the price is going to be and someone does a pre-order at $499 and then it ends up being $650 because of the tariffs, well, then they can't get their device and then they're really mad at you. And so just, it's all so dumb. It's all so very dumb. And here we are. Doing the dumb stuff. Yeah. Victor Doink says, if it comes with Legend of Zelda, I'll buy it. I told you I know Zelda, right? My friend Patricia Somerset, she's Zelda. She does the voice for Zelda. She does the voice for... I can't remember the character. She's in like Rainbow Six and some of the Call of Duties, and she does a lot of voice acting for things. But yeah, I know Zelda. I'm friends with Zelda. She's also a great singer. She has a band called Somerset that's really good too. She lives in Montreal now. She's from the US, but she lives in Montreal. And she's getting married to a guy who... He's a director, and his brother director, I think, just won an Academy Award last year. I can't remember his name for the life of me. He's like a 7-foot-tall French Canadian. But yeah. Just living the good life. She makes, I think, good money doing the voices for all these video games, but I think the real money is going to Comic-Cons and, getting the picture lines and the autograph lines. You talk to nerds who want to meet Zelda. So yeah. Where am I? Chris Taylor, fun times for options. I'm loving this volatility. Bring it. I'm loving volatility too. Walter Bloomberg screwed up my swing trades, man. Should have gone a lot further. And then they could bounce up. But, oh well. And 9, oh shit, a show. Murphy Turf Studios, was I pay $100 on my SPY this morning at open? Figured things might get worse after the fake pump. Nope. Been hard to focus on work today. Yeah, it was a very long day of staring at graphs go like this and to come out even after hours and hours of staring at a graph really pisses me off. And 9, thoughts on all these new RC twats over the last week. Weird seeing RC and the like souring on Trump. Think they're going to move on the 25th Amendment. Oh, the streets to save America was too hard. Oh, the rest to save America was too hard. I mean, you got guys like Bill Ackman freaking out. Ryan Peterson from Flexport freaking out. Ryan Cohen freaking out. And the problem is that they all knew this was going to happen because he said he's going to do this. We told him he was going to do this. And I'm like, no, it's just going to be for negotiating tactics. Oh, yeah, we're going to negotiate by destroying our relationships with everybody to get what in return? Like, we blow up our relationships with people. They don't want to negotiate with us, but they're just going to cut us out. Like, you're dating somebody, right? You're dating somebody, and things are going okay. They're going all right. Things are going okay, and all of a sudden they backhand you, right? You can be the damaged person in that relationship who's like, oh my god, and then you try to save it, or you can be the logical person who knows how to process events like that and be like, fuck this, I'm out. And then that person back, you might blow up your phone, be like, come back, I didn't mean it, oh, blah, blah. Be done with it. Your life is better off not with the abusive yo-yoing of an abusive relationship. You just leave. And that's what the world is doing. They're telling us to fuck off. You know? Carney up in Canada and Mexico, they're forming their own little trade pacts. They're forming their own trade pacts with the EU. China's stepping in and forming trade pacts with the EU, circumventing us, right? China's like, hey, I can cage people all day long about not messing up trade with people, right? And they're going to fill that void. And we blew up our diplomacy and our charity and everything else. And so we don't have US dollars going out to other nations now because we don't have US aid spending money helping people eat, helping them get housing, protecting war victims, fixing water supplies, stopping disease outbreaks. That cash is no longer going out around the world. And when that cash goes out around the world via these charity organizations, the soft diplomacy, that cash has to be spent on something, which is usually American goods. And now we've lost that too. So, yeah. Of course they're souring. They got exactly what they wanted. There was that article in The Economist from the banker who was all excited that he could say the word retard now. I could make fun of people for their races and I could say whatever I want. And now you just lost $10 trillion, you moron. Like, is being able to say slurs better than having $10 trillion? I think I'd rather have $10 trillion than like be able to just say slurs to people. I don't want to say slurs. That's gross. Like, what? Why would you do that? Different line, super chat, just stopping in. It's crazy how once I started actually making money on SPY options, I stopped giving a shit about GME. Have you been degenning with me? I've been degenning. I wish last week, man. I had so much I had to do, and I would try to make a play, and then I would get stuck painting or fixing something, and then be like, oh crap, the trading day's over. I'd missed my day trades, and so now that things have quieted down, I can actually start focusing on the destruction of the U.S. capitalist system, and hopefully get my cash into another country where I can leave before this all turns to shit. So that's the goal. The goal is to move again. That's the goal. This time, have somebody else pack it up for me. I don't know. Okay. Hear me out. Black Tuesday. I think tomorrow might be pretty bad. Especially Trump now raising tariffs to, like, if he raises another 50%, it'll be 104% tariffs on Chinese goods starting Wednesday. If China doesn't take their tariffs off by tomorrow, which, you first, buddy. So, anyway, monkey butt, we gotta go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe we'll have more news. I don't know. We'll find out. But dig a dunk. I made a cutting board to send to you to give away. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Anyway, folks, have a great night, and I will catch you tomorrow. And how about we watch the world blow up one more time? Boop. Thank you, baby crying. Maybe I'll remember to hit the actual off button this time, Monkey. Shall we try it? And